In today's daily news from the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times, we will cover the following stories. In Vietnam, property magnate Truong My Lane faces a death sentence for a $12 billion embezzlement scheme, shaking trust in the state. Meanwhile, rising mortgage rates threaten the U.S. housing market's recovery. In the UK, Rishi Sunak's ties to Blackstone spark speculation about his post-election future. On the technology front, hybrid vehicles gain traction amid concerns about EV infrastructure. And in finance, Nikolai Tangen's podcast offers insights into global business trends. Finally, the EU's migration crackdown raises ethical concerns about human rights and policy effectiveness. With that, let's dive into these articles.
Vietnamese property magnate Truong My Lan has been handed a death sentence by a Ho Chi Minh City court for orchestrating a $12 billion embezzlement scheme, Vietnam's largest financial fraud to date. Lan, 67, was found guilty of bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power, eroding public trust in the Communist Party and the state. Accused of siphoning funds from Saigon Joint Stock Commercial Bank, SCB, through illicit means, including using proxy control and ghost companies, Lan's actions implicated 85 others, including central bank officials. The case reflects Vietnam's wider graft crackdown, which has led to the resignation and arrest of high-ranking government officials. This intensified scrutiny has slowed government approvals for projects, creating bureaucratic hurdles and fostering uncertainty in one of the world's fastest-growing economies. Lan's arrest in 2022 triggered a market slowdown, impacting the property sector and corporate bond activity. Despite being a top destination for foreign investment diversification from China, Vietnam's anti-corruption campaign has tarnished its appeal, with officials cautious about approving projects amid fears of entanglement in graft investigations, leading to bureaucratic paralysis.
Mortgage rates are nearing 7%, posing a threat to the housing market's anticipated recovery this year. After a brief easing at the beginning of the year, rates have surged back towards 7%, a level not seen since December. This increase comes amid shifts in expectations for the Federal Reserve, with higher inflation data casting doubt on potential interest rate cuts. Rising rates make homeownership unattainable for many Americans, impacting affordability and adding substantial interest costs over loan lifetimes. Despite hopes for relief, recent headlines have left potential homebuyers like Catherine Hicks worried about future refinancing options. However, the current uptick in rates is less severe than last year's spike to nearly 8%, indicating some adaptation among buyers and sellers. While mortgage originations dropped in 2023, there's optimism for a rebound this year, with firms like United Wholesale Mortgage hiring aggressively in anticipation of a prolonged environment of elevated rates. Rishi Sunak's close ties with Blackstone's leadership have stirred speculation about his post-election future. Sunak's relaxed demeanor alongside Blackstone founder Stephen Schwarzman at the groundbreaking event for the firm's new European headquarters hinted at his potential aspirations beyond the upcoming general election, which his Conservative Party is expected to lose. Sunak's efforts to strengthen connections with Blackstone coincide with the private equity group's significant investments in the UK totaling over £70 billion. Despite Downing Street denials, Sunak's interactions with Schwarzman and Blackstone President Jonathan Gray, including private meetings and dinners, have fueled rumors about consulting them for his post-political career. Schwarzman's honorary British knighthood in March further raised eyebrows, though the nomination process began before Sunak's premiership. Sunak's allies dismiss claims of job-seeking, citing his focus on current responsibilities. Nonetheless, with Sunak potentially becoming an ex-prime minister at a relatively young age, his financial security, including his wife's substantial stake in Infosys, underscores the complexities of his political and financial future.
As electric vehicle, EV sales face challenges due to concerns about charging infrastructure and range anxiety, hybrid vehicles have surged in popularity. Combining batteries with an electric motor and a conventional gas engine, hybrids offer improved fuel efficiency and reduced emissions. They achieve this through mechanisms like regenerative braking, where braking generates electricity to recharge the battery. While hybrids typically cost more than gas-only cars, their savings in fuel costs and potential tax incentives can offset the initial investment. Additionally, hybrids often perform better in city driving and offer a quieter ride. Plug-in hybrids, PHEVs, represent a hybrid variation with larger battery packs that can be recharged via a plug, allowing for electric-only driving for a certain range. While thieves offer greater gas mileage and potential tax credits, they also come with higher upfront costs and charging considerations similar to EVs. Mild hybrids, on the other hand, supplement gas engine power with a smaller electric motor, providing modest fuel efficiency gains but lacking the ability for electric-only driving. Choosing between hybrid types depends on factors like charging infrastructure availability, daily driving patterns, and electricity and gas prices. EVs remain the cleanest option in terms of emissions, but concerns about the environmental impact of electricity generation persist. Ultimately, each type of vehicle offers different trade-offs in terms of fuel efficiency, emissions, and driving experience, and consumers must consider their individual priorities and circumstances when making a decision.
Nikolai Tangen, CEO of Norges Bank Investment Management, manages Norway's $1.60 trillion sovereign wealth fund and hosts the podcast In Good Company. Tangen's show features top CEOs, offering insights into their personal lives and corporate strategies. Tangen's background as a military interrogator informs his conversational yet probing interview style, which covers topics from AI to corporate culture. With guests like Elon Musk discussing topics like colonizing Mars and the future of AI, the podcast provides unique perspectives on global business. Tangen aims for transparency, showcasing the fund's investments and fostering public understanding. Despite initial scrutiny over his personal wealth, the podcast has helped him connect with the public. Tangen involves portfolio managers in interview preparations and receives feedback on recordings, demonstrating his commitment to engagement and active management. The podcast's success, with close to 3 million total downloads, reflects Tangen's ability to engage CEOs and the public alike. Tangen's playful approach, including donning uniforms and debating pizza toppings, adds a personal touch to the show. Even elusive figures like Elon Musk eventually agree to appear, showcasing Tangen's persistence and influence in the business world. Tangen's journey from fund manager to podcast host exemplifies his multifaceted approach to leadership and communication. Through In Good Company, he provides a platform for CEOs to share their stories while offering valuable insights into global business trends and challenges.
The European Union, EU, is grappling with a surge in migration, prompting it to adopt increasingly draconian measures to curb asylum seekers and migrants. Under pressure from far-right parties, the EU is fortifying its borders and outsourcing asylum processes to countries like Tunisia, despite concerns about human rights abuses. The EU has allocated millions of euros to countries like Tunisia to manage borders, leading to allegations of arbitrary arrests and forced removals of migrants to Algeria and Libya. Tunisia, receiving substantial EU funding, has intensified its crackdown on migrants, raising questions about human rights violations. Reports suggest migrants intercepted in Tunisia have been sent to Libya, where they face imprisonment and exploitation. Critics accuse the EU of turning a blind eye to these abuses in its pursuit of curbing migration. Meanwhile, far-right parties gaining strength across Europe advocate for even harsher immigration policies. The EU's approach to migration includes striking deals with third countries like Turkey and Libya, despite documented human rights abuses in these countries. These agreements aim to prevent irregular migration, but often result in violations of migrants' rights. Turkey, for example, has faced criticism for forcibly expelling refugees and migrants, while Libya has been accused of imprisoning and torturing migrants in detention centers. While some hail these agreements as necessary to manage migration, others criticize them as short-sighted solutions that ignore the root causes of migration. Pressure from far-right parties drives the EU's tough stance on immigration, leading to policies that prioritize border security over humanitarian concerns. As the EU continues to navigate the complexities of migration, concerns persist about the effectiveness and ethical implications of its policies. While outsourcing migration management may offer short-term relief, it raises questions about the EU's commitment to human rights and its ability to address the underlying causes of migration effectively.
If you found today's daily news summary helpful, please consider subscribing to help us provide better content for you in the future.